All right, so we're diving into prophecies today.
Ooh, prophecies.
Yeah, I know, right? This deep dive is all thanks to you guys.
That's right. Our amazing listeners requested we explore prophecies from, well, pretty much every corner of the world of religion.
They want to know how different faiths approach these, I guess you could call them divine predictions.
Yeah, divine predictions and what those prophecies reveal about, I don't know, maybe the nature of God or the divine or whatever you want to call
And
it.
that's exactly what we're going to be looking at.
It's really a fascinating topic.
It is. And we've got a great source for this deep dive. It's this academic book that takes a really neutral look at prophecies in a whole bunch of different religions.
It's like we're time travelers or something,
Yeah.
peeking into how people throughout history have tried to make sense of the future of knowing what's to come.
Okay, so first things first.
Yeah.
What exactly is a prophecy?
Well, our source defines it as like a revelation of events that are going to happen in the future.
Okay.
And it often comes with like a moral or spiritual message attached to it.
Interesting.
And importantly, it originates from something divine, some kind of higher power.
So not just like any old prediction.
No, no, no.
It has to have that divine connection.
Right, exactly. It's what separates, a true prophecy from just like a guess or even like a really educated prediction based on patterns we see in history.
Like we can use algorithms and data and all that stuff to make predictions.
Yeah, totally.
But prophecy, that suggests there's this whole other level of foreknowledge, something we just can't replicate.
It really does. It's like having a sneak peek at the cosmic script or something.
A cosmic cheat sheet. Exactly.
Exactly.
And our source really emphasizes how the fulfillment of a prophecy, sometimes literally centuries after it was made,
Why?
that's seen as the ultimate proof that it's authentic.
Like a divine signature or a stamp of approval.
I like that, a divine signature. Like, yep, this is the real deal, folks.
Right. And you see this idea pop up again and again across so many religions.
Makes you wonder what it all means, you know?
It does, doesn't it?
All this talk of prophecy, it really makes me think about all those attributes we often associate with God, like omniscience, omnipotence, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ability to see the future, I mean, that requires a level of knowledge that's just mind-boggling.
It's beyond our comprehension, really.
Yeah.
It suggests that there's this awareness of future events, but potentially even the power to influence them.
And to be present, not just in one point in time, but across all time.
Prophecy kind of messes with our understanding of reality, It suggests that the divine, it operates on a whole other level.
Totally different rules.
Exactly.
Okay, so now that we've got like a basic understanding what prophecy is, let's dive into some specifics, some examples.
Okay, yeah. Where should we start?
Let's start with Hindu scriptures. Our source talks a lot about the Mahabharata, this epic text just packed with prophecies.
Oh, yeah, the Mahabharata. I love that one.
What stood out to you from that one?
Well, there's a lot to choose from, but the prophecy about Krishna's birth, I mean, that's a classic.
Natsura's birth, okay.
Yeah, it was foretold that he would be born to defeat this really evil king named Kamsa.
Okay, I'm vaguely familiar with that story, but refresh my memory.
Yeah, so it said that Krishna was born in a prison cell, hidden from this evil king Kamsa, and eventually, of course, he triumphs over Kamsa.
So it was all part of this like divine plan from the very beginning.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing when you think about it, like all these events orchestrated to fulfill this ancient prediction.
And to think, this isn't just some ancient myth. It's a story that has shaped the beliefs and lives of millions for centuries.
Yeah, the Mahabharata is still incredibly relevant today.
Okay, so we've touched on Hinduism. Let's move on to the Abrahamic faiths.
Right.
We can't talk about prophecy without talking about Judaism, the Torah, the prophets. All of those writings are just full of prophetic statements.
Yeah, prophecy is central to the Jewish faith.
And one that I always find fascinating is the prophecy about the Babylonian exile.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, prophets like Jeremiah, they didn't just predict the exile itself. They also said how long it would last, 70 years.
And that's exactly how long it lasted, right?
Yeah.
Like to the year almost.
Right. Historically accurate. It's incredible. You know, I can only imagine how much hope that prophecy must have given the Jewish people during their exile.
Yeah, to know that there was a specific timeline, an end in sight.
It had to be incredibly powerful, a light at the end of a very dark tunnel.
Absolutely. It reinforced their faith and identity during a time of immense hardship.
It makes you think about the power of prophecy to shape not just individual lives, but entire cultures and historical events.
It's a powerful force, that's for sure.
Okay, so we've got Hinduism, we've got Judaism. How about Christianity? Prophecy plays a huge role there as well.
Oh, absolutely. For Christians, The fulfillment of messianic prophecies in the life of Jesus, well, that's basically the cornerstone of their belief system.
So his birth, his death, his resurrection, those are all seen as fulfillments of prophecies from the Old Testament.
Exactly.
And it doesn't stop there, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of talk about the second coming of Christ and Christian eschatology, the study of the end times.
that's right. It's a topic that generates a lot of debate and different interpretations.
It raises so many questions about the future and how it all unfolds.
It really does.
Now, Islam offers another perspective on prophecy as well.
Absolutely. It's considered a core principle of the faith.
Right. I'd love to hear about some examples of Islamic prophecies, especially those concerning the future.
Well, one of the most fascinating ones I came across is a prophecy about the Quran itself.
The Quran.
Yeah, the Quran actually contains a prophecy about its own preservation.
What do you mean?
Well, it states that the Quran will be protected, remaining unchanged over time.
And has it?
Remarkably, yes. For centuries now, the Quran has stayed pretty much the same, aligning with the prophecy.
Wow. That's incredible. So we've got all these different faiths, Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all with this shared emphasis on prophecy.
It's a pretty universal theme, isn't it? This idea that the future can be glimpsed, that there's a plan, a divine script playing out across time.
But there's still so much more to explore. Buddhism, Native American traditions, how prophecies actually get fulfilled, those that remain unfulfilled, and on and on. Maybe we should take a pause here, let all this sink in a bit.
Yeah, good idea. It's a lot to take in.
What's resonated with you the most so far? What's really standing out from all these different examples of prophecy?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How prophecies can give us these glimpses into what might be, what could be.
Yeah, and how those glimpses, they can shape our beliefs and actions today,
It's like this constant back and forth between destiny and free will.
And it makes you question the role of the divine, like how much influence does God really have on human affairs?
Big questions.
Huge questions.
And speaking of big questions, we've talked about Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity,
Yeah.
Islam.
Yeah.
But what about Buddhism?
Oh, that's right. I was wondering about that.
Buddhism, it doesn't always get included in these conversations about prophecy.
Right. It's not really known for like predicting the end of the world or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does our source have to say about Buddhism and prophecy?
I'm curious too.
Well, Buddhism does have prophecies, but it takes kind of a unique approach, you know.
Okay. How so?
It's less about predicting specific events in history and more about exploring these really deep, like spiritual and philosophical truths.
Oh, interesting. So it's more about illuminating the path to enlightenment
Yeah.
than like foretelling exactly what's going to happen on a specific date.
Right, precisely. And the source points to the prophecy of Maitreya Buddha as a great example of this.
Oh, Maitreya. I've heard that name before, but
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Of course. So for those listening who might not be super familiar with Buddhist terminology, Maitreya is what's called a bodhisattva.
A bodhisattva.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a being who's already achieved enlightenment but chooses to, like, delay entering nirvana.
Wow, so they could just like peace out and be done with all the suffering, but they choose to stick around.
Exactly. Because they want to help others achieve liberation, too.
Talk about selfless.
It's pretty amazing, right? And the prophecy says that Maitreya is going to appear in the future, in some future age, when the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, have been, like, forgotten or corrupted.
Oh, wow. So it's like a comeback story.
Kind of. Maitreya is going to come and, like, revive the Dharma, set things straight, guide humanity back towards enlightenment.
So it's not just about Buddhism itself. It's about the potential for like spiritual renewal for everyone.
Exactly. It's about reminding people that even during, like, really dark times, that potential for enlightenment, for awakening, it's always there within us and within the world.
That's a really beautiful idea.
It is.
It kind of gives you hope, like no matter how bad things get, there's always a possibility for things to get better.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message, especially these days.
So we've talked about these major world religions and their approach to prophecy, but I'm curious about what our source has to say about prophecies in other cultures, beyond those big traditions.
Oh yeah, good point. Prophecy isn't limited to just a few religions. It pops up all over the place.
So what are some other examples that stand out to you?
Well, our source dives into some Native American traditions. There, you often see prophecies that emphasize the importance of, like, living in harmony with nature.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, like the Hopi people, for example.
Okay.
They have prophecies about a great purification of the world.
A great purification. Huh. What's that all about?
It's described as this, like, really intense period of upheaval and transformation. But ultimately, it leads to a new era of like peace and balance.
Wow.
Pretty intense stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Aboriginal concept of dream time, which is also fascinating.
Dream time. Yeah, that's one I've always been kind of curious about.
Yeah, so it's not just about dreaming.
Right, yeah.
It's actually this like whole other realm that exists outside of time and space.
Oh.
Yeah, and is where these ancestral beings created the world and left their wisdom and stories encoded in the land itself.
Wow, that's deep.
It is,
So how do prophecies fit into this dream time?
well, they're often tied to it, drawing on these ancient narratives to guide people's actions in the present and in the future.
So it's like this connection between the past, the present, and the future, all woven together through these prophecies.
Exactly. It's a really holistic view of time and existence.
It's amazing how this desire to understand the future, to connect with something bigger than ourselves, it seems to be a part of the human experience, no matter where you go in the world.
Yeah, it really does transcend cultural and religious boundaries.
Okay, so we've looked at a bunch of different perspectives on prophecy, but now I really want to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's get down to business.
How do these things actually come true?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Our source explores this whole tension between divine intervention and natural processes.
Right, like, is it God directly making things happen?
Or is it just the way the world works, cause and effect?
Or maybe it's a bit of both.
Yeah, and do we have any say in the matter? Or is it all predetermined? Like, is free will just an illusion?
Whoa, deep questions.
I know, right?
But seriously, it's not a simple either situation.
Okay.
Our source suggests it's more like this intricate dance between, like, divine guidance and human agency.
Okay, so sometimes it's a miracle.
Yeah, like a direct intervention from God.
Right, like parting the Red Sea.
Exactly. That defies any natural
I
explanation.
mean, come on, that's got to be divine intervention, right?
Right. But then you've got prophecies that seem to play out through, like, historical trends and social movements.
Okay, so like the rise and fall of empires.
Yeah, exactly. Like what you see in the book of Daniel.
So sometimes it's a miracle, sometimes it's just the flow of history.
Right.
And sometimes it's probably some kind of crazy combo of both.
Yeah. And then there's this whole other element, which I think is super interesting.
What's that?
Human choices. Our own actions can actually contribute to the fulfillment of prophecies.
You mean like we can accidentally make a prophecy come true?
Well, not necessarily accidentally. But sometimes people's choices, even their mistakes or their bad decisions, can play a role in how a prophecy unfolds.
Whoa, that's trippy.
I know, right?
Makes you think.
It really does. Okay, so this brings us to, like, the biggest question of all.
Uh-oh, here we go.
If God knows the future, if prophecies come true,
Yeah,
do we actually have free will?
that is the ultimate question, isn't it?
Right. Is everything just preordained? Or do we actually have a choice in shaping our lives, shaping history?
Our source really dives into this, explores all these different philosophical and theological angles.
So what's the verdict? Spill the beans.
Well, there isn't really one single answer.
Okay.
Some argue that God exists outside of time, seeing all moments at once.
It's like past, present, future. It's all happening simultaneously for God.
Exactly. And if that's the case, then maybe divine foreknowledge doesn't necessarily cancel out free will.
So God might know how the story ends, but we still get to write our own chapters along the way. That's one way to look at it. But then there's this whole other issue.
Which is,
Evil. Suffering.
oh yeah, the age-old problem of evil.
If God knows everything and can do anything, why is there so much pain and suffering in the world?
That's a question that's been bugging philosophers and theologians for centuries.
Yeah, and our source tackles it head on. One of the explanations it explores is the idea of free will. Some theologians believe that God gave us free will, the ability to choose between good and evil.
Right, that's the classic argument.
And that means we have the capacity for amazing things like love and compassion.
But also the capacity for some pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So evil, in this view, it's not something God directly created or wanted.
It's a consequence of our choices, our freedom.
Right. It's a complicated issue, no easy answers.
It is.
But there's another concept our source brings up, which I find really fascinating. It's called middle knowledge.
Middle knowledge. Okay, you're going to have to explain that one.
Yeah, so imagine God knows all the possible choices we could make and all the potential outcomes of each choice. Right?
So like God sees this giant map of all the different paths we could take.
Exactly. And we're the ones who choose which path to actually follow.
So even though God knows what we'll choose, we still have that freedom to make the choice.
That's the idea.
Ooh, that's mind-bending.
I know, right? It's a way to kind of reconcile those two big ideas.
God's omniscience and our free will.
Exactly. Pretty wild stuff, huh?
It is. So many layers to this. Okay, I think we need to shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about prophecies that have come true.
Right.
But what are the ones that haven't?
Ooh, yeah, the unfulfilled prophecies.
That's where things get really interesting.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a cliff looking out at this, like, foggy, unknown future.
And those unfulfilled prophecies, they're like these faint whispers in the fog, hinting at what might be coming.
Yeah, or maybe they're like, I don't know, signposts pointing us in a certain direction, even if we can't see the destination yet.
Do we take them literally? Or are we supposed to find some kind of deeper symbolic meaning?
That's the big question, right?
It is. And every religion seems to have its own way of dealing with those prophecies that haven't quite gotten around to coming true yet.
Right. Our source mentions some really famous ones, like the second coming of Christ in Christianity,
Okay.
the appearance of the Mahdi in Islam, the coming of the Messiah in Judaism.
All these figures who are supposed to arrive and, like, change the course of history.
Yeah, usher in a new era,
Hmm.
bring about some kind of major transformation.
But so far, no show.
Nope.
So how do these different faith traditions handle that? I mean, do they just keep waiting?
Well, our source talks about how there's a whole spectrum of interpretations and beliefs surrounding these unfulfilled prophecies.
Like what?
Some folks, they're convinced that these events are going to happen any day now.
Like they're watching the clock, counting down the seconds.
Right. While others, they see these prophecies as more symbolic, representing like spiritual truths that are always relevant, regardless of whether they play out literally or not.
Okay, so it's not necessarily about a specific event happening at a specific time.
Right. It's more about the underlying message, the bigger picture.
I can see that.
And then you've got others who believe that the timing of these events, well, that's up to God.
It's not for us to know.
Exactly. Our job is to just like live righteously, be prepared, that kind of thing.
So basically, we're in the dark.
Pretty much.
But we should just trust that the light will eventually come on.
Yeah, have faith.
Okay, so we've got all these different interpretations. How are we supposed to make sense of it all?
Well, like a lot of things related to faith and spirituality, it often comes down to personal interpretation.
So there's no right or wrong answer.
Not necessarily. Some people find comfort in believing that these prophecies will be fulfilled literally,
Gives them hope, something to look forward to.
Exactly. Yeah. While others find meaning in exploring the like metaphorical or symbolic layers of those prophecies.
So it's about finding what resonates with you, what makes sense for your own spiritual journey.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to these things.
Makes you wonder what the whole point of prophecies is in the first place, If some of them never come true, why bother?
That's a great question. Our source actually digs into that.
Okay, so what's the takeaway? Why prophecies?
Well, it emphasizes that prophecies, they're not just about proving that God exists or that like some divine plan is playing out.
Okay, so there's more to it than that.
Right. They can serve as guides, offering hope, strengthening faith, encouraging people to live more ethical lives.
It's like a cosmic pep talk.
Yeah. And a lot of prophecies contain like really important moral lessons.
Challenging us to be better people.
Exactly.
So it's not just about predicting the future. It's about inspiring us to create a better future.
I think that's a really important point. Prophecies can act as this, like compass, pointing us towards a more fulfilling path.
I can see how knowing that there's a bigger plan, a bigger purpose to it all, that could be really comforting.
Absolutely. Especially during those times when we're feeling lost, uncertain, like the world's gone crazy.
It gives you a reason to keep going, to have faith that things will get better.
Right, that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
But it's not just about passively waiting for the prophecy to magically come true, is it?
No, definitely not. Our source really stresses that.
We have to do our part.
Yeah, we got to align ourselves with like the divine will, make choices that reflect the values and the lessons that are embedded in those prophecies.
So we're not just like puppets in this cosmic play.
Right, we have agency. We're co-creators. We can shape our own destiny.
It's like God gives us the outline, but we get to fill in the details.
That's a great way to put it.
I love it. I'm feeling really inspired after this whole deep dive into prophecies.
Me too. It's really made me think about, our place in the universe, the nature of time, the whole mystery of the divine.
It's just, wow, there's so much to explore.
Yeah, it's a never-ending journey.
It really is. So before we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a question, something to ponder.
Okay, I like it.
If you could ask a single question to a prophet, any prophet from any time, past, present, or future.
Any prophet.
Yeah, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
What's that one burning question about the future, about God, about the meaning of it all that you would just have to have answered?
I have to think about that one.
Me too. It's a question that could keep us busy for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, on that note, we're going to leave you, our amazing listeners, with that very question to ponder.
Enjoy the mystery.
Yes. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of prophecies, this journey through time and faith.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. And remember, the future, it's not set in stone.
It's a story that's still being written.
And we all have a part to play in how it unfolds.
So choose wisely.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep believing.